Okay, my name's Richard Finn, and I wanted to show you exactly how we evaluate the muscles in the foot in order to do treatment on the foot. So we are going to treat, but I want to show you how I figure out where to treat, because if somebody's not figuring out where to treat, they're doing a very general treatment. I want to do a very specific treatment. So to start off with, we're going to look over here at the ankle. And what I want to do is, you can see this foot is kind of pushed up. I'm going to put my hands down here, stabilize, and I'm going to come until she stops. Now, this is straight up and down. I should get another 20 degrees out of that at least. So that tells me that the calf is tight up through here in the gastroc muscle, which everybody likes to stretch out with that runner's stretch. Let's see if we can make a change. What I'm going to do is I'm going to feel across the muscles over here, and I'm going to put a little bit of pressure. You're in charge, by the way. Tell me if I press too hard.
Okay.
Because the patient is always in charge. I don't want to do anything mean or brutal or anything like that. So I'm getting the lower portion of this. I'm going to do both sides, and then there's an upper portion where these fibers go up. So I want to make sure to get everything. But after I do these, I'm going to keep stretching out and looking and seeing, have I made any kind of difference? So far, this is where we are. I'm going to come back over and stretch out again, and let's see, I've got it here. And now you can see we're way past neutral. We've probably got about 10 degrees. I still want to get the upper portions of this. The upper portions of this muscle, they come up. The hamstring muscles come down like this. These lower muscles come up and they fit inside. So I'm going to come inside the hamstring muscles and go ahead and do some, again, very light treatment in here. So you'll notice I'm holding rather than moving around. I'm holding because I'm hoping to treat, number one, the nerves in the area, because the nerves like to know that they've got some compression. There's specific fibers that tell you that. And I'm pressing on the muscles because muscles have areas of shortening where I'm pressing. And my hope is that this is going to make a change in the range of motion. And usually the pain from this particular muscle ends up being mostly back here in the calf. Because of its shortening, it can cause some irritation here in the Achilles tendon. Now we're going to come down, and here we are, and look at that. Now we've got a good 20 degrees of motion in there. That is considered normal range of motion. That's what I would have wanted. If she were walking around in heels, this might be a problem. Cowboy boots might be a problem. But if there's no support in them, you really don't want to walk in a lot of other stuff. But anyway, that's where we're at. Now, the second muscle I want to get is underneath that. It's called the soleus, and it's all through here and comes right back down into that Achilles tendon. What we're going to do is lift the leg up, and this time we're going to come back into that neutral position, and now I want to see, can I come down? Okay, now I'm coming down, not horribly, but I think we can do a little bit better than that. The other thing is, while I am here, notice how the toes are all starting to curl up like that. I'm going to open those toes and see, I can't bring them back down very much past neutral. The big toe, I can barely get it to neutral. So I've got at least 3 muscles in here right now that I need to worry about. So in order to treat, I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to slide my finger up, and where I start feeling the separation of the superficial muscle, I'm going to come down and get the deep muscle so I can feel across, up and down. What I'm feeling for is a little nodular area, and I'm finding that. Now, is my pressure okay there, ma'am?
Yeah, all good.
Okay, good. And again, notice I'm not straining or hurting myself to get to it. But again, this is something that you probably need if you've got calf pain. This muscle has a tendency to send pain up into the back of the, in the top of the buttock muscle. It sends pain to the ankle or the Achilles tendon area. And so that makes it kind of important. Now I'm going to cross over a little bit higher up to get the next region that usually has a problem. And again, I'm not working very hard. I'm not trying to cause any pain, but you'll notice the one thing I'm not doing is I'm not working through it and just massaging the area. That's not going to accomplish what we need it to do. That feels good and there's nothing wrong with it, but if you want to get something taken care of, you probably need a little bit more. Now, the other area where this attaches is into a back of a bone back up here. So I have to work through an overlying muscle and I can feel some nodularity down in through there. So I'm just holding the pressure. And hopefully as a result of doing this, we're going to get a little bit more motion. Now, the motion that I am expecting to get is going to be improving the ankle motion, but we'll see what happens. Okay, I'm going to come back out. Let's bring it back up. And let's see what we get. Okay, notice that is a rather dramatic change inside it. However, you'll also notice that big toe didn't come down a whole lot. These are all curled up. I still have more work to do. But thus far, we've made a big change in 2 different muscles. Now we're going to go ahead and try for that big toe. That big toe actually has fibers that are going to be coming up and attaching back over here. So I'm going to move my finger back here. I'm going to move this up and down and see. This is where I feel it. So I'm going to work here and we should make a change in that big toe. And that's important because you need that big toe to push off when you're walking. If you're having problems walking or tripping over your feet, this might be part of that particular problem. Again, I'm going to come back up. We're going to come back down. There's the big toe. And now look at the big toe move. Okay? We've got these other toes to worry about. These other toes are attaching on the back of the bone back here. In order to get to these on video, I'm going to treat the way I normally never treat, but I'm going to roll around through here and I'm going to roll backwards behind the bone. So again, I would do this treatment, but I would usually do it either in a side lying position. Usually it's a side lying position, but we'll see if we get some sort of a change here. And if I want to make sure I'm in the right area, I could reach back and pull the toes where I can feel them moving right now. But that seems to be doing the trick. So let's come back up, come back down. Here's the toes, and here's the toes in movement. So again, we've made a big change on each one of them. So that's just on this side. Let's see what happens when we turn her over and look at the other side. Well, let's flop over. I'm going to walk over here so I'm working on the same area. So on this side, we have a muscle coming down through the front and attaching down through here. So it's going to be right under. I'm going to point down and I'm going to roll in. Now, that's not as much motion as I would like to see. It's not horrible motion. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to feel for the bone. I'm going to drop out, move back and forth over the area, and then put some pressure down. Are we okay here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do not let me hurt you.
No.
Okay, I gotta check on these things. I don't suppose anybody's done this before?
No.
I didn't imagine. Okay, so that was about as long as it takes. Now sometimes I also like to hold pressure and move the skin up above. That way I can affect more than just the muscle. I get another neurological effect by doing this. So there we go. Now we're going to come down and look at that now. Now she's moving. Now before when I tested, I brought her down here and I did bring the toe down. Now the toe's moving, but let's see about in through here. So that I'm not getting a whole lot of movement there. So I'm going to come up a little bit higher here. I know where I'm at, but I'm going to move here. This helps me to feel the muscles that are causing the problem by moving the toes. Going to come back in here. There we go. That's not real hard to do. And now, let's see. Ah, what do you know? We have toe movement. Last thing I want to look at in this angle is I came across here and notice how she's just not going in at all, okay? Now, this is not uncommon people to have a lot of ankle sprains. This can be an issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come along the side because up and through here is where the muscles that go around that ankle are at. Now, I've got one hand here and I've got one hand here so that I can do a little bit of compression. Again, are we okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not causing any pain with this?
No.
Okay, I always want to be very cognizant of that. But again, this is essential for treating the foot to actually work the long muscles before I even get into the foot muscles. We will do something on the intrinsic foot muscles, but the muscles outside need to be taken care of first. Anybody can just rub your feet, but not everybody knows how to just come in and find what's responsible for the foot mechanics first. Now let's come back and see if we've made a change. There's two other possibilities here, but look at that. We're now getting movement that we didn't have. Okay. Now I want to do a second muscle that I think might be involved. It's also out here. And I'm going to come off the edge and I'm going to come right back in. Now sometimes this is really tender, so I'm watching her face. I want to make sure I'm not doing anything bad because I don't want her to be sad. But again, quick, easy, doesn't take a whole lot. I'm not sure how long the video is going to be here, but this is what treatment in normal time looks like. Now let's see. Look at that. That's practically perfect. I could do more, but that is plenty for this. I'm going to go ahead and sign off for now on these long muscles that go into the foot, but we'll be coming back and getting the short muscles that are in the foot. Thank you very much.